Hello everyone and welcome to the King Angel Show. Remember to like this video, comment on what you think about it, share it out to your loved ones, and subscribe to my channel. You can also become a Patreon member for exclusive content, and you can also join the Discord community for the King Angel Show. All links in the description box below. Thank you very much. I appreciate your continued support. Enjoy. Alright, so with the release of Fosora, I thought it would be pretty interesting to make a video ranking Björk's 10 albums. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Before I start though, I want us to be on the same page. Björk is my favorite musician of all time. In my own personal opinion, she's the greatest artist of our generation. She's the most creative, she's the most groundbreaking. You've heard me say this before, but nobody does it like Björk. Keeping that in mind, I enjoy all the albums. I enjoy all the songs, some more than others. Obviously, it all depends on how relatable the songs are, how I feel about them personally, the beats, the production, her singing. It varies. Each Björk era is different, and it offers us, different type of musical styles. But I thought it would be interesting, to be able to give you a glimpse of the ranking system that I have for her albums. Again, I love them all. It's Björk, but again, I just enjoy some more than others because of, I guess, different reasons. But nonetheless, let's get into this. We'll start with number 10 on my list, and that would be Debut. This is her first studio album, released in 1993. It has an eclectic variety of styles, including electronic pop, house music, jazz, and trip hop. It was recorded in London, and there were 5 singles released from Debut. It's Human Behavior, Venus as a Boy, Play Dead, Big Time Sensuality, and Violently Happy. My personal favorites are Venus as a Boy, Play Dead, Aeroplane, Come to Me, and One Day. First studio album. This was our introduction to Björk's own personal view of how she wanted to make music and the control that she now had over what she wanted to create. It's a great album. It's very 90s, very of its time. Fun album, pretty great. Not my favorite, but I enjoy it as well. So that's Debut for you. Let's see what I have for number 9, which is Volta. Her 6th studio album, released in 2007. This was labeled as electropop, experimental, world, and avant pop. Stylistically, it's distinctive and eclectic album that, while incorporating the efforts of many collaborators, touches on forms of music like brass music, Chinese folk music, percussive tribal music, electro, Malian folk music, ambient, and industrial music. It was recorded in New York City, and some songs were recorded in Jamaica. 5 singles were released from Volta. It's Earth Intruders, Innocence, Declare Independence, Dull Flame of Desire, and Wanderlust. My favorites off the album are Hope, Wanderlust, Pneumonia, I See Who You Are, Vertebrae by Vertebrae, and Dull Flame of Desire. Number 9 on my list, this was labeled as her fun album. I love it. I love the Volta tour. I have the DVDs. I so wish I would have been in that crowd. I actually know someone that saw her during that time, and it seems like it was just so much fun. The remixes that she did to the songs were just awesome and very fitting for the tour. Very colorful. She was at that point at her funnest while still maintaining that serious tone. Not a lot of people liked it. It wasn't as much of an impact as her other albums were. I think people were just on that Vespertine high and they just couldn't get off from it. Mind you, Vespertine, one of her greatest. I could understand the difference, from a quiet, minimal album to this very loud, very out there album. could have been a little shock for a lot of people, but to us Björk fans, we love Volta. Hell yeah. Let's move on. Next song. Sorry, next album. We have Post. Her second album was released in 1995. Eclectic mixture of electronic and dance styles such as techno, hip hop, IDM, and house music, but also ambient, jazz, industrial, and experimental music. It was recorded in London, and 6 singles were released from Post: Army of Me, Isobel, It's Oh So Quiet, Hyper Ballad, Possibly Maybe, and I Miss You. My favorites are Hyper Ballad, I Go Humble, Possibly Maybe, I Miss You, Headphones, The Modern Things, and Cover Me. Okay. I love Post, but the fact that It's Oh So Quiet is her most known song and her most played song is a kick in the face. I don't understand why. It's a great song. Don't get me wrong, but really, that's her most heard song. That's the song that people recognize her for. Come on now. Even if we were to take this album for itself, dude, it has Hyper Ballad. If there's one thing that Björk does from the long list of things that she does amazingly is, dude, she knows how to end a song. She knows how to end a song like no one else. The way she ends it with those strings, and it's just so beautiful. I absolutely love Hyper Ballad. I don't understand why why it has to be It's Also Quiet. This is also probably one of her most well-known albums, besides Debut and Homogenic. If you were to ask like people that don't really listen to Björk like that, this is more of the era that people remember from her. So yeah, I guess you can say that this specific album is probably her most memorable in terms of reachability to people and how it was easier to connect with that pop aspect of her. So yeah, that's Post for you. Let's move on to the next one. We have Biophilia. This was the first tour I saw from her. That's just a fun fact on my end. So it was my introductory experience to seeing Björk live, and it was phenomenal. I have my own little problems with the way the stage was set up, but that's neither here nor there when it comes to this ranking system. But like I said, number 7, Biophilia. It's her 7th album. Okay. Released in 2011. It's an eclectic mixture that includes styles of dubstep, hip hop, and pop. It was recorded in London, and 5 singles were released from Biophilia. It's Crystalline, Cosmogony, Virus, and Moon. And Thunderbolt was not necessarily released as a single, but there is a video to it. It's that live video. It's pretty awesome. My favorites of this album are Thunderbolt, Cosmogony, Hollow, Sacrifice, Mutual Core, Solstice, and Virus. This is her app album. I remember when this came out, this was a huge thing because no one had ever done this before. So in comes in the groundbreaking aspect of her. I mean, no one had ever done that app album. It's amazing. The app in and of itself is so interesting, and the fact that you're able to create all of these beats, and it had the visuals on it. It was pretty unique, and it had such a positive approach to education, and it was knowledge based, and you could learn things. It's music and knowledge put together in science. It's a marriage of the best worlds. So I give it up to Biophilia. My personal opinion, out of all of her albums, this is probably her least approachable, her least relatable one when it comes to the topics that she sings of. The comparisons between like earth minerals and crystals to human emotions, while to a Björk fan like me, like I think that's pretty awesome, and I love the comparisons, and I love the figuring out what she's trying to say with the lyrics. Maybe to those that are not fans like that would kind of see it as weird. Just like weird lyrics that they don't understand it. But I think that's what kind of separates these diehard fans of Björk from, I guess, people that are not. Is that we get what she's trying to say and we indulge in it and we love it. So yeah, makes sense. To me, it makes sense, at least. The message that she's trying to convey with these comparisons, but that's just me. Let me know in the comment section if you understand everything that she's trying to say about this album, Biophilia. But yeah, this is number 7 on my list. Let's move on to number 6. We have Utopia, her 9th album, released in 2017. Musical styles are listed under avant-garde and folktronica. It was recorded in Iceland, as some songs I think were recorded in New York City as well. There were 4 singles released from Utopia. We have The Gate, Blissing Me, Arise in My Senses, and Features Creatures. My favorites off this album are The Gate, Utopia, Blissing Me, Body Memory, Future Forever, Tabula Rasa, Courtship, and Claims Taker. Really tight album. It's not my favorite from basically the collaboration between Björk and AITA. I feel like some of the songs were not, maybe in my own personal opinion, they weren't mixed correctly, they weren't like mastered properly. Because, like, for example, on Sumi, sometimes her voice gets really lost in the beat, and I don't know if that was done on purpose, but it didn't click with me very well. I still like the song though, but it didn't click with me like that, because if you really hear it on headphones, it gets to a point where the background music overpowers her voice and it sounds kind of weird. Other than that, I think that it's a very beautiful album. Thematically, the lyrics are, about finding bliss and overcoming, this grief of loss of love. Definitely on the list of her most approachable albums when it comes to the topics that she's talking about. And the videos were just off the hook with this one. The Gate, that Gucci dress, whew, and Utopia, that was pretty beautiful, let's say. And let's just say. And yeah, tight album from beginning to end. Still number 6 on my list because I think that she has 5 other albums that are a whole lot better. So let's move on to the next one and see what I have for number 5. We have Fosora. So Fosora, her 10th studio album, released in 2022. It's listed under Avant Pop Techno. It was recorded in Iceland, and 3 singles have been released so far. So we have Atopos, Avio, Ancestris. All 3 have music videos to it, and she released Fosora, the single, on Spotify, and I'm guessing she did it on other streaming services as well, but there's not a video for it. My favorites of this album are Atopos, Ovule, that song falling under my top 5 favorite Björk songs of all time. Sorrowful Soil, Ancestris, Allow, Freefall, Fungal City, Fosora, and Her Mother's House. Released, a week and a half ago now? What can we say about Fosora? I love it. The beats, the production, her voice, the lyrics, the themes. It's just such a beautiful, cohesive album. All the songs blend in together perfectly. She stays on that wave of these, beats that sound like growth. It sounds like something growing. Obviously mushrooms in this case, because that's the reference. But all in all, it's a great album. It's pretty tight. I love it. I don't understand why there's some people that are giving it hate. Shout out to Fantano for giving it a 5. Your own personal opinion, and I respect it, my dude, and I respect everyone's personal opinion about anything, but wow, a 5? That's crazy. The reason why I put this album as number 5 on my list is because there are albums. still too new to take the places of albums that have already been established as her masterpieces. So I guess this one takes a little bit more time to be able to jump up in those jump up positions on my list. But it's still an incredible album. Like, don't get me wrong, I have been on a Fosora run for like since it was released on Spotify last Thursday. I just can't stop listening to it. That's how much I like it. Again, this is in my own personal opinion. We'll move on to number 4, which is Medúlla. Her 5th studio album, released in 2004. It's listed under acapella, avant-garde, and experimental. It was recorded in New York City and Iceland. 5 singles were released from Medúlla. We have Where's the Line, Who Is It, Oceania, Triumph of the Heart, and Mouth's Cradle, was also released as a single, but doesn't have a video to it. My favorites from this album are Ancestors, Desired Constellation, Mouth's Cradle, Oli Burton, butchered that. Pleasure Is All Mine, Sonnets, Unrealities, Submarine, Triumph of the Heart, and Who Is It? I love Medúlla. That's the first vinyl I bought from Björk. I love it. The fact that it's all a cappella, but the beats that are there are all made, or the majority, from voice. The rawness to it. The interludes. It's just what an amazing album. And I say interludes, mostly it's just songs that don't have like actual lyrics to them, but they're just shorter than the other ones. Rozelle is on this album. Shout out to him. There's just so many. Mike Patton is on this album as well. Fun fact: Mike Patton actually came out when I saw him on the Biophilia tour. This was in San Francisco. He came out and what was it? He did a Mouth's Cradle with Björk. It was so awesome. Shout out to Mike Patton. And yeah, this album is incredible. I love Medúlla. The album artwork, I love it. The fact that this album specifically, the color theme is black. Again, black is my favorite color. Is another plus for me. This was like tip top Björk vocally. Yeah, shouts out to this album, Medúlla, one of her best. So now we will be moving on to top 3. At number 3 we have Vespertine. It's her 4th studio album, released in 2001. It's listed under art pop, glitch pop, electronica. It was recorded in Spain, Copenhagen, and in New York City. 3 singles were released from Vespertine. We have Hidden Place, Pagan Poetry, and Cocoon. And my favorites off this album are Aurora, Cocoon, An Echo, A Stain, Harm of Will, Heirloom, Hidden Place, It's Not Up to You, Pagan Poetry, Sun in My Mouth, Undo. Björk's quiet, minimal album, where everything that was so grand from Homogenic is now quieted down for Vespertine. Her love album, her falling in love, the pleasures of that intimacy with your new lover, the closeness that intimacy brings, the fact that she loves him. Beautiful album. I call this my winter album. I love playing this once fall, winter hits, because it's just perfect for the time, and it's just pretty fitting for that season. I love it. Shouts out to Matmos for working with Björk on this. Zena Perkins as well. I apologize for that. Playing on the harp here. Grade A album. I know many people that Vespertine is their favorite Björk album. I know many people that agree with me with my pick of number 1, but we'll just have to see which one that is. But yeah, this is Vespertine. So let's go on to our next one, which is number 2 on my list. Vulnicura. Her 8th studio album, released in 2015. It's registered under electronic, avant-garde, and ambient. It was recorded in New York City, and 3 singles were released from Vulnicura. It's Stone Milker, Lion Song, Black Lake. Not Get has a video accompanied because they did the VR for it, but it wasn't released like a single like that. But nonetheless, my favorites from this album are Stone Milker, Lion Song, History of Touches, Black Lake, Atom Dance, Mouth Mantra, Quicksand, and my favorite Björk song of all time, Family. That version, the strings version, to me is lyrically, the production, the strings, it's just such, wow, it's such a beautiful song. It's, again, this is my own personal opinion, but Family to me tops my list of my favorite Björk songs of all time. It's a whirlwind of emotions. Everything she says, I raise a monument of love. Yeah. So one of the reasons why I put Vulnicura at number 2, and it's just a very human album. It's just so raw and emotional, and you kind of feel what she's going through and this pain and how she describes it, and Arca, and it's just, it all fits so perfectly well. So yeah, shouts out to Vulnicura. Tight album from beginning to end. I absolutely love it. And the vinyl version, it's just something else. Stone Milker, the last minute of that song on vinyl is such a beautiful experience. History of Touches, wow, unbelievable. But if you're a Björk fan and you know the sequences of the albums, then you already know what I'm gonna pick as number 1. It's to me her magnum opus, her masterpiece, and it's a shared opinion amongst a lot of people as well, but it's Homogenic, number 1. It's her 3rd studio album, released in 1997. It falls under musical styles of electronica, trip hop, art pop, glitch, and experimental. It was recorded in Iceland, and there were 3 singles released from Homogenic. There were 5. Joga, Bachelorette, Hunter, Alarm Call, and All Is Full of Love. I apologize for that. My favorites are the whole album. Alarm Call is maybe the only song that I'll still hear, and I love it, but it's the only one from the album that I kind of don't like as much as I like the other ones. But all in all, this is just Björk at her like finest. She's always at her finest moment, but this was just her explosive, this is who I am, this is the type of musician and artist that I am going to, from this point on, grow as. And now we just have what we have now, and it's queen at this point. But even the album artwork, you can kind of tell this is different. This is not like everyone else. This artist isn't the same as everyone else. People started keeping a bigger eye on her after this, and it catapulted her into that status of this is top tier musician. And then she did that Homogenic tour. Just beautiful. So yeah, this is basically my top 10 Björk albums. Again, this is all my own personal opinion. Let me know in the comment section below your ranking. Did you like my list? Is there anything that you could change from it? Do you agree with the positions I gave each album? Just let me know in the comment section, and definitely subscribe to my channel for more. Thank you. I really appreciate you making it all the way to the end of the video. If you like my reactions, consider becoming a Patreon member for exclusive content, and also join the Discord community for the King Angel Show. All the links in the description box below. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.